Hi, I'm Jill from the DIY and home decor blog, timeonourhands.com. Thanks for watching this video. Today I'm going to show you how I made these simple modern cabinet doors to replace my old kitchen cabinet doors. Let's get started. This is what my kitchen cabinets looked like before. I decided to reface them with veneer and make new doors to get rid of the orange color and make them look more modern. I've already put the veneer on the cabinet frames, which I'll have a video coming up linked in the description box below. Before we get the saws and wood out, there are a few things to consider before you start making your own replacement cupboard doors. First, determine what style of kitchen cabinets you have. If you're following this tutorial, make sure you have face frame type cabinets. Second, decide what style of cabinet door you want to build. If you like a simple, flat front cabinet door, then this tutorial should help you. Third, decide what size overlay you're intending for your new doors to cover the face frame of your cabinet. Full overlay is 1 1/4 inches, but there are other sizes of overlay. Basically, decide how much of the front of the cabinet you want showing and make sure you can get the correct hinges for that size overlay for when you install the doors onto the cabinets. And last, decide what finish you want your kitchen cabinet doors to have. I wanted a warm wood look, so I used red oak hardwood plywood and finished them with clear polyacrylic. There are other species of hardwood plywood that you can buy, or if you intend on painting them, one suggestion would be to use birch hardwood plywood and then paint them. If you're not sure or unfamiliar with any of the terms that I've used in this section of the video, check out my Parts of a Kitchen Cabinet post on the blog, where I explain the pieces that cabinets are made up of. The first step in figuring out how large of a cabinet door to make is to measure. First, measure the hole that the cabinet door covers. You need to know the width and the height. And I'm making full overlay doors on a cabinet that has a face frame. A full overlay door for cabinet experts is 1 1/4 inches overlay on all sides. So I'm going to add 1 1/4 inches to the measurement that I just took so that it will cover 1 1/4 inches of this face frame. I just want to give you another example of what I mean by that, because that can be a little bit confusing. But basically, this cabinet box has a frame on the front of it. That's why it's called a face frame style cabinet. And then when I put the door on, it's gonna cover the hole plus 1 1/4 inches, which you can see that's almost the whole face frame. That's why it's full overlay on all sides of this frame. After you're sure you have your measurements correct for the size of each of your new cabinet doors, it's time for the fun part, cutting them out. First, plan out how you will cut your plywood to get the most doors out of each sheet of plywood. This is really important because you don't want to waste sheets of plywood because it can be expensive. The plywood I used was about $90 a sheet. I had several cabinet doors that were the same width, so I started by using a Kreg AccuCut saw track tool and my circular saw to rip the length of my sheet of plywood the width of those cabinet doors. Then I used the Kreg Rip Cut saw guide and my circular saw to cut that piece to the lengths I needed for the doors. And then you just continue cutting out the doors to the sizes that you've measured until you have all of your cabinet doors cut out. After you've got your cabinet doors cut out of the plywood, it's time to finish them. The first thing I do is apply edge banding onto the edges of the plywood to cover up the look of the layers of wood that have been glued to make the plywood, and to make the door look like a solid piece of wood. Basically, you follow the directions on the edge banding package, and you use an iron on high heat, no steam, and you hold the edge banding centered on the edge of the plywood, and then you hold the iron over it for a few seconds so the glue can melt and adhere it. You should be able to slide the edge band around a little if it's not lined up correctly at this point. And then you just continue working your way down the edge of the plywood, adhering the edge banding. When you get to the end of the wood, carefully bend the edge band until it breaks off. Then, using a scrap block of wood or a veneer scraper, press the veneer onto the plywood edge. Continue until all the edges are covered. After that, I gave the doors a good sanding, especially the edges, to remove any extra edge band that was sticking out. And then I just wiped the cabinet doors down with a damp cloth to remove the dust before I applied my finish. I used 3 coats of polyacrylic, and I just followed the directions on the back of the polyacrylic container. After the new cabinet doors are finished, it's time to get them installed on the cabinets. I followed the directions on the package of concealed hinges that I used. First, using my Craig concealed hinge jig, I drilled holes on the inside of the cabinet doors to mount my concealed hinges to. Next, I screwed my concealed hinges onto my cabinet doors. Then I installed the new cabinet doors onto my cabinets. You don't usually have to be exact screwing the doors to the cabinets, just close. You can usually adjust the hinges afterwards, up or down, left or right, and in and out. After I had all my doors in the positions that I wanted them, I installed my cabinet door pulls. I used black finger edge cabinet door pulls. They look so clean and modern, and they were super easy to install. I just lined them up where I wanted them on the cabinet and marked where the screws should go in on the back of the cabinet door. Then I drilled pilot holes and screwed the handles onto the cabinet door. That's how I made these simple modern replacement cabinet doors. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, please like and follow. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Have a great day and see you next time.